Okay, in this video, we're going to review all of the different ways we can play a minor 2-5-1 in jazz. So minor 2-5-1s are more complicated than major 2-5-1s because we've got a lot more options with our voicings. So in the minor mode, the 2 chord, the diatonic 2 chord, is not minor, it's half diminished, which means a diminished triad with a flatted 7th. Not to be confused with fully diminished 7, which is a minor triad with a double flatted 7th. So in the minor mode, the 2 chord is half diminished. The 5 chord always has some type of upper structure alteration, usually flat 9, sometimes sharp 9, and then we can combine, we can mix or match flat 9 and or sharp 9 with a natural 13 or a flat 13. So let's look at our options for the 2 chord. Let's do it in the key of C minor. So in the key of C minor, okay, my diatonic 2 chord is a D half diminished. Okay, now if I just kept going up diatonically in the key of C minor and made this an add 9, I would do that. But we're never going to do that in jazz piano. This is a big no-no, never, because as you can hear, it sounds wrong. This is a very, very bad interval to have on a half diminished chord. This minor 9th right here, okay? So as a general rule, we hate to have minor 9ths in our voicings in jazz, and there's only one big exception, and that's a dominant 7 flat 9, which we're going to cover in just a minute. So never have a voicing that's got a flat 9, and I mean anywhere in the voicing. So we don't want a flat 9 between the bass note and any note in the upper structure, and we also don't want to have a flat 9 between any notes within the upper structure itself. Okay, so no flat 9s, but we don't mind at all, we don't mind having half step or whole step crunches as long as they're buried in the middle of the voicing, right? So for C minor, for example, I can drop these, I can bring these 2 voices up. Now I've got a half step rub, but because it's buried right in the middle of the voicing, it doesn't bother us at all. Right? Same thing with C major 7 in second inversion with my upper structure. I've got a half step crunch, but because it's in the middle of the voicing, no problem. But we do want to avoid minor 9ths. So back to my C minor, my 2 chord. I've basically got 3 options. Okay, I can't play the E flat because it sounds bad. So I'm either going to leave the 9 out, option 1, and I'm just going to stick with a basic D half diminished or a D minor 7 flat 5. Okay? In which case, I might double the root if it's in the middle of the voicing. So if I go to my second inversion here, I could go from the flat 5. So I'm either going to do this or this. Or I'm going to have a natural 9. That's option number 2. So I'm going to substitute a natural 9, which might be confusing because this E is not diatonic to the key of C minor. But that doesn't bother us in jazz. We can play a 2 chord with a natural 9 that's not in the key of C minor, and that doesn't bother us. Okay, so either have no 9 whatsoever, and either leave the 9 and the root out, or if you build from here, you can double the root. Or we're going to do a natural 9, or we're going to do Lydian grip from the flat 5. Which, of course, we're not playing the 3rd. You probably notice there's no F in this chord, but that's not a problem because the ear fills in that note. Right, once you hear this combination of a flat 7, a flat 5, and the natural 11, your ear automatically knows this is either Locrian, right, or Locrian natural 2. So take jazz theory for more details on those choices. So, as a general rule, we're either going to do the 2 half diminished, just 1, 3, 5, 7, with no 9, or we're going to do the 2 half diminished with a natural 9. So what's my upper structure? Well, this by itself, the upper structure by itself, if I ignore the D, is an F minor major 7 chord, right? It's an F minor triad with the major 7 added. So we call this a minor major 7. So as a general rule, for half diminished, we can play a half diminished chord by doing a minor major 7 built from the flat 3 above the root of the half diminished chord. So for D half diminished, I'm going to go up a minor third to my flat 3, F, and from F, going to build a minor major 7. So minor major 7 built from the flat 3, that's going to give me half diminished with the natural 9. Option number 2 is Lydian grip from the flat 5. So if I'm trying to get D half diminished, I'm going to do my Lydian grip, which is my major 7 with a flatted 5 from the flat 5. So from A flat to A flat major 7, but flat the 5. So Lydian grip from the flat 5. That gives me D half diminished as well. Or like I said, I can just do garden variety D half diminished like this, and then switch to a 4-note voicing on the 5 chord. Or I can do my D half diminished garden variety in an inversion, second inversion. And therefore I've still got a 4-note voicing, I'm just doubling the root, which is a little boring, but at least it avoids the flat 9 problem. Okay, so for D half diminished, those are the 3 voicings I'm going to use. Either the minor major 7 from the flat 3, Lydian grip from the flat 5, or garden variety half diminished. Okay, so once we go to the 5 chord, we've got tons of options. Let's start with going from the minor major 7 from the flat 3 on the 2 chord. So here's my 2 half diminished, minor major 7 flat 3. The easiest way to get to the 5 chord is to just do what we did with the major 2 5 1, which is all you have to do is bring your middle finger down a half step, right? Very beautiful sound. So now what do I have in my right hand? I've got a diminished triad with a major 7. So that's a diminished major 7 chord. So this is F diminished major 7. I can also call this minor major 7 flat 5, right? Because it's just like minor major 7 but with a flat 5. So same thing, diminished major 7 or minor major 7 flat 5. Now you notice above the G, I'm building this from a flat 7, and that's going to be a common theme. We build most of our dominant chords either from the flat 7 or from the 3rd. Okay, so for the 2 chord, I'm doing minor major 7 from the flat 3. For the 5 chord, I'm doing diminished major 7 from the flat 7. Then for the 1 chord, I'm going to do major 7 from the flat 3. So E flat major 7 over C in this key. Okay? Option number 2, I'm going to keep the same 2 chord, minor major 7 from the flat 3. This time when I go to the 5 chord, I'm going to move my pinky and my middle finger down a half step. So now what do I have in my right hand? I've got F diminished triad with a single flatted 7, so that's half diminished. So now I've got F half diminished here, also called F minor 7 flat 5. Okay, also built from the flat 7 for the 5 chord. Right, there's my G, so from the flat 7, half diminished. And then I'll go to, once again on the 1 chord, major 7 built from the flat 3. So what's the difference between these 2 versions so far? The 2 chords the same. So in this case, in the first version, when we just move the middle finger, diminished major 7 from the flat 7, this gives us what tensions, what upper structure notes? We call them tensions because they create tension. We have a flat 9 and a natural 13, right? There's my 3rd and there's my flat 7. So that makes it dominant. That makes it dominant 7 flat 9, and that makes it dominant 13 flat 9, natural 13. So diminished major 7 from the flat 7 gives you natural 13 flat 9. Okay. The second option, where we did half diminished from the flat 7, well, now we've still got our 3rd, our 7, and a flat 9. Now we've also got a flat 13. So it's even a little bit darker sounding. Okay, option number 3 for the 5 chord is we're going to do Lydian grip from the major 3rd. Okay, so from the major 3rd, do my Lydian grip. Lydian grip is a major 7 with a flatted 5th, right? So B major 7 with a flat 5. That gives me 3rd 7th, flat 13, sharp 9. Now to put this together with my 2-5 that I just did, I need to drop these two down an octave. So I'm going to invert to this. It's the same thing as this, just down here. So I don't have to leap around with my hand. So now I'm going to do F minor 7, F minor major 7, excuse me, over D. F minor major 7 over D for the D half diminished with the natural 9. Inversion of the B Lydian grip over the G to give me G7 sharp 9 flat 13. And then I'm going to land on E flat major 7 over C for the C minor 7. Now, with the tonic minor chord too, I can also have some fun. I can play around. I've got some options. So I can do minor 7 like I've done so far, which is a major 7 chord built from the flat 3. I can also do minor major 7, which is I do an augmented major 7 from the flat 3 over my root here, over my bass note. That gives me a minor major 7. It's the James Bond chord. Or I can even do Lydian grip from the flat 3, which gives me a minor 6-6-9 chord. We have a 6 and a 9, right? So because it's a tonic minor, we can play around with it a little bit more. So they're all built from the flat 3. I'm either going to do major 7 from the flat 3, which gives me minor 7 add 9. I'm going to do augmented major 7 from the flat 3, which gives me a minor major 7 add 9. Or I'm going to do Lydian grip from the flat 3. Major 7 flat 5 from the flat 3, which gives me minor 6 9. So I'll let you hear those in context. So minor major 7 from the flat 3, half diminished from the flat 7, major 7 from the flat 3. Option 2 for the 1 chord, keeping the 2 and the 5 the same. Minor major 7 from the flat 3, half diminished from the flat 7, augmented major 7 from the flat 3. Option number 3, again, I'll keep the 2 and the 5 the same. Okay, now let's look at our minor 2-5 starting with our thumb on the flat 5 on the 2 chord. So, on the 2 chord, I can do Lydian grip for my half diminished. I can do Lydian grip from the flat 5, or I can do garden variety 1-3-5-7 and just invert and bring the D and the F on top. This or this, they both work. I like Lydian grip better because it sounds a little more hip to my ears, personally. So, either Lydian grip or this, okay? And then on the 5 chord, you can go to Lydian grip again from the major 3. And then here we're really close to our second inversion tonic chord, which once again could be garden variety minor 7 add 9, could be minor major 7 add 9, or it could even be the inverted Lydian grip. So your thumb can land on any one of those and it's going to sound good. That's minor major 7. That's garden variety minor 7 add 9. That's Lydian grip. Okay. Alternatively, after the 5 chord, we can do after the 2 chord, here's my 2 half diminished, either with Lydian grip or with 1-3-5-7. So second inversion of the basic 1-3-5-7. I can do a fully diminished 7th chord from the flat 2 above the G. That's an option. It's maybe even better to do it from the 3. Or you can even do diminished major 7 from the 3 as well on the 5 chord. So there's Lydian grip from the flat 5, diminished major 7. So there's a ton of options. The last one I'm going to show you is the all Lydian grip version, which is fun because it's literally just the same grip, you're just transposing it around. So Lydian grip from the flat 5 gets me half diminished on the 2 chord. Lydian grip from the major 3 gets me dominant 7, sharp 9, flat 13 on the 5 chord. And then Lydian grip from the flat 3 gets me minor 6, 9 on the tonic chord. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again but invert the last chord, because I don't want to have to leap from here all the way down to here. Or I guess I could leap from here up to here and do my Lydian grip. It doesn't sound terrible, but it sounds a little bit better if I just invert the last one. So Lydian grip from the flat 5 for the 2 chord, Lydian grip from the 3 for the 5 chord, and then Lydian grip from the flat 3 for the 1 chord inverted. Okay, so tons of options on your minor 2/5s. Just start to find your way through all of your choices on the dominants, because it really makes a difference, right? Again, diminished major 7 from the flat 7 gets you natural 13, flat 9. Half diminished from the flat 7 gives you flat 9, flat 13. Lydian grip from the major 3 gets you flat 13, sharp 9. Diminished major 7 from the major 3 just gives you the sharp 9 with a natural 5. Fully diminished from the 3 just gets you flat 9 with a natural 5. Right? So those are some of the more common options. And then don't forget your 3 options for your 1 chord. You've got minor 7 add 9, which is a major 7 from the flat 3. You've got minor major 7 add 9, which is a major 7 sharp 5 from the flat 3. And you've got minor 6 9, right, which is a Lydian grip from the flat 3. Okay, so there's your review, pretty comprehensive review of minor 2/5 1s for jazz piano voicings.